Right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back. It feels like, man, this week the algorithm has been, like, on overdrive, really been digging up some seriously wild stuff. It's like, it crawled through the depths of Reddit and just came back with, like, a digital dossier of eyebrow-raising news.
Yeah, and what I'm noticing this week is like a lot of these stories, they all kind of point to this one thing.
Oh, what's that?
This like eroding trust we have in all these institutions. It's like everywhere you look, people just questioning those in power, whether it's the government, big tech, even like the whole legal system itself.
It's true. Like, even just scrolling through, your average Reddit feed, it's impossible to ignore. And speaking of questioning authority, well, the algorithm, it pointed us to this one story that's been blowing up, especially on Reddit's Politics.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Elon Musk and his, let's just say, growing influence in the U.S. government. It's gotten so much attention that Time magazine, they even put him on their cover, sitting right there in the Oval Office, behind that resolute desk.
I saw that. It's pretty wild. Really powerful image, symbolically. It's like it just taps into this fear people have. Like, who really has the power? Who's pulling the strings? And then on top of that, you've got Musk's actual official status as what is it, a special government employee.
Yeah, special government employee. I mean, it sounds like mysterious, right? But basically, it just means someone who works for the government temporarily or like on and off. Often, in an advisory role.
Right, and it's usually unpaid, but it still gives them access to information and, influence.
Lots of influence.
Yeah.
And in Musk's case, well, that access has caused a real stir on Reddit, especially, like I said, in your politics subreddit.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. What are people saying?
Well, some users, they're throwing out theories saying he's like angling for a formal position in the government, maybe even a cabinet spot.
Makes you wonder.
Others think he's just trying to protect his own businesses, like SpaceX and Starlink. And then there's the, let's say, more creative folks who think he's like playing some kind of 4D chess that's beyond us mere mortals to understand.
4D chess, huh? That's a good one.
Yeah, one comment, it got a ton of upvotes. It said, is he a puppet master, a power-hungry tech bro, or just a bored billionaire with a new hobby? Place your bets now, folks.
Huh. I mean, it's funny, but also kind of scary, right? It all points to this like blurring of the lines between private companies and the government. And when you look at what Musk's been doing with USC, things get even more like complicated.
Yeah, the agency that handles all that foreign aid stuff. I remember reading about that.
Right. And the thing is, USC's they were right in the middle of investigating Starlink, Musk's satellite internet company, about their contracts in Ukraine. And then boom, suddenly Musk has all this influence over the very agency that was looking into him.
So like the fox guarding the henhouse situation.
Yeah, pretty much. And to make matters worse, there are all these reports that some top security people at USAID, they got suspended, all because they were trying to stop Musk's team from getting their hands on some classified info.
Whoa, it's serious.
Yeah. And some people are even calling it a conflict of interest. Timothy Snyder, he's a historian at Yale, he even went so far as to call it a coup attempt. He said it's part of this bigger thing that's happening, this whole pattern of like trying to dismantle democratic institutions.
A coup attempt? Wow, that's a heavy accusation. I can only imagine what people are saying about this on Reddit.
Oh, yeah. It's been a hot topic. There's a ton of anxiety, people trying to make sense of it all. One user, they commented, Snyder, maybe he's exaggerating, but it doesn't look good, man. This whole thing just reeks of a power grab.
Yeah, I get that. And it's not just him. It's like a lot of the top comments, they all have this feeling of like unease. Like if billionaires are calling the shots now, one user wrote, then democracy, it's over, finished.
Yeah, and, gotta love Reddit. You always get the other side, too. Over on Ad News Off the Stupid, someone quipped, why is everyone so surprised?
Laws, they're just suggestions anyway.
Classic Reddit.
But, jokes aside, it shows you how disillusioned people are with the whole system. And when people stop believing in the rules, that's when things get really dangerous.
That's like, yeah, the rules are there, but what happens when the people in charge just decide to ignore them? What then? Which actually brings us to another trend that the algorithm's been picking up on. It's this, like, growing disregard for the Constitution, especially from certain political figures.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And I think the most glaring example of that is Trump and what he's been saying about, like, birthright citizenship.
Right, he's back on that again, trying to say we should end it.
Which, it's guaranteed by the 14th Amendment.
For those who might not be, constitutional law experts, the 14th Amendment, it's pretty straightforward. It says that anyone born in the U.S. is a U.S. citizen no matter what, even if their parents aren't citizens. It's been the law of the land for, like, over a century.
Exactly, over 125 years. So what Trump's trying to do, it's not just legally questionable, it's, a real threat to our democracy.
The reaction on her politics, it was intense. One comment, it got tons of upvotes that just said, is he seriously trying to rewrite the Constitution again? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw that one. But here's what's even worse. Trump's getting support for this from other people in his party. Tom Tillis, the senator, he basically downplayed any worries about what Musk is up to at USI. He said something like, no one should complain about potential constitutional violations.
Wow. It's like they're living in a different world, like where the Constitution is just like a suggestion box or something.
And, the algorithm, it never disappoints. It found this comment on Our News Off the Stupid that just sums it all up perfectly.
What does it say?
It said, we're patriots. That's why we let billionaires run the government now. Forget the whole American Revolution thing, right?
Oof. Yeah, that's some heavy sarcasm right there. But it does make you think, like, have we completely lost sight of what this country is supposed to be about?
It's a good question. And a scary one. It's like we're sleepwalking into this dystopia where the rich and powerful can just do whatever they want. And the rest of us, well, we're just left to deal with the consequences.
It's a bleak picture, man.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe there's some hope out there.
Oh, yeah. The algorithm, it always finds something. It does find something. Like, it also found these kind of hopeful stories, too. Signs that people are, like, pushing back, against this whole authoritarian vibe.
Okay, yeah, give me some good news. What are people doing?
Well, there's been a lot of action on that 5Calls website and the app, too. The one that, like, encourages people to actually call their representative.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. It's a good way to make your voice heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it feels small.
Exactly. And it seems like all those little actions, they're adding up. One person on Politics, they were saying they called their rep's office, and the staffer told them they'd had a ton of calls that day.
Oh, yeah. How many's a ton?
Like 20.
20. Wow, they must be overwhelmed.
Right. But hey, it shows you that even a few people can make a difference if they, like, actually do something.
True. But what about bigger stuff? Like, are there any groups trying to, really fight back against this?
Definitely. There's this whole movement growing to boycott companies that advertise on, X, what used to be Twitter.
Ah, right. People realizing that where they spend their money, it matters.
Exactly. They're trying to hold Musk accountable for all that, disinformation and hate speech stuff.
It's like people are starting to connect the dots. It's
Yeah.
not just about, like, Musk or Trump on their own.
Yeah.
It's about the whole system that lets them do what they do.
You got it. And speaking of systems, the algorithm, it found this story that's been going around. Really chilling stuff. It's about this anonymous letter.
From who?
An FBI agent. They're warning people about, like, a purge happening within the Bureau.
A purge? What, like getting rid of agents who aren't, like, on the right side?
That's what it sounds like. The letter, it talks about this effort to get rid of anyone who was involved in the January 6th investigation.
Whoa. So silencing the people who might have dirt on Trump.
Yeah, basically.
That's some straight up authoritarian stuff. What are people saying about this?
For politics, they're freaking out. One comment, it was like, they're trying to erase history, protect the people who almost overthrew the government. This is terrifying.
Yeah, I can see why they'd be scared. Makes you wonder what else is going on that we don't know about.
And of course, Our News Off the Stupid, they had to chime in. The top comment was, FBI agent writes an anonymous letter. Hilarious, considering that was, like, their whole thing back in 2016.
Oh, the irony.
It's like people thought they were voting for one thing, but it turned out totally different.
But this FBI thing, it's just one piece of it all, right? The algorithm also found something about Trump in the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to get Justice Thomas to retire because of, his age and health.
Wait, so he can appoint someone even younger and, like, more extreme?
You got it. Even some Republicans are a little worried about that, though not for the, best reasons. They just think the new person might be too right-wing.
World Politics had this comment. It was like, they probably want him out. They've got someone ready to help usher in the billionaire-run government.
Disturbing, right. It all goes back to that question, like, can the Constitution even work if the people in power just ignore it?
Right. Like, if they can just break the rules whenever they want, then what's stopping them from taking over completely?
It's scary. And the algorithm, it's been finding signs that we might be heading down that path, like, faster than we think.
Uh-oh. Like what?
There was a story about Trump using those presidential pardons to, like, let convicted criminals back out.
Seriously?
Yeah, and some of them, they've already gotten in trouble again.
So it's not even about giving people second chances or anything.
No, it's just about rewarding his friends and showing everyone that, they're above the law.
So messed up.
There's this one guy, he got pardoned, and then he immediately got arrested again for, like, assaulting a cop.
Wow. No remorse whatsoever.
And the crazy part is, after he got arrested again, he got released from jail. Some kind of bureaucratic mistake.
You can't make this stuff up.
News off, the stupid is having a field day. Like, the party of law and order, right? They're all wondering if this guy's going to get a cabinet position next.
Dark humor, but I get it. It's just, like, unbelievable.
But hey, there is a little good news. The algorithm found this story about Trump facing another lawsuit. This time it's from some FBI agents. They say he's been targeting them unfairly.
Okay, that's something at least. What's this one about?
It says Trump's been violating their First Amendment rights by, like, retaliating against them because they were investigating his Russia connections.
So maybe there's a chance he'll actually face consequences for his actions.
Maybe. Girl politics is, like, cautiously optimistic. They're hoping this could finally be the one that sticks.
Fingers crossed. But in the meantime, it seems like all we can do is rely on the algorithm to keep digging stuff up, exposing the truth no matter how messed up it is.
Right. In this world where everyone's trying to control the narrative, we need those tools that can help us see through the BS.
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, we'll be back in just a bit to dive into even more wild stuff the algorithm's found for us. All right, so we're back, and man, the algorithm, it's still churning away. Like, it's relentless. And, we've spent a lot of time talking about this whole, like, loss of faith in institutions and how, things are kind of going sideways both here and, like, around the world.
It's a lot, yeah. But, the algorithm, it also dug up some, like, genuinely positive stuff, too. It's not all bad news, like little reminders that people are still out there, fighting the good fight.
Okay, I need to hear that. Tell me something good.
Well, how about this? A court in Germany, they just ordered X, which was like Twitter, to hand over all this election data.
Really?
Yeah, it shows that even Musk, he's not above the law, at least not everywhere.
That's great. Like, it's good to know there are still some places where the rules matter, even for, billionaire tech guys.
Exactly. And remember that story about Ontario, Canada, how they banned U.S. companies from getting government contracts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a big deal. Sticking it to Trump over those tariffs.
Right. It's not often you see a government, like, standing up to a bully like that.
It's kind of satisfying, actually.
Totally. And the reaction online has been interesting. Like, on Reddit, people are really into it.
What are they saying?
On Or Politics, there's tons of praise for Ontario. People are calling it a win for, like, fairness and holding people accountable.
I bet you News at the Illicit Stupid is having a field day with this.
Oh, yeah. The top comment I saw was, Trump really showed Canada. Now they got to get their maple syrup from, like, Vermont or something.
Classic. But seriously, though, what Ontario did, it's a big deal. It shows that even a country like Canada, they can flex their muscles when they need to.
For real. And speaking of, power and stuff, the algorithm found this story about Greenland. They're taking steps to, like, prevent foreign interference in their elections.
Wait, Greenland? Why would they need to worry about that?
But that's the thing. Trump, he's been talking about wanting to buy Greenland.
Hold up. He wants to buy Greenland. The whole country.
Yep. He's been pretty open about it.
That's wild. I mean, I know he likes real estate, but that's, like, next level.
It is, right. But Greenland, they're not taking any chances. They're putting in all these new rules to make sure their elections are fair.
That's smart. Seems like no one is safe from this kind of meddling these days.
Nope. And shifting gears a bit, the algorithm, it also found this story about Senator Tuberville. He's been saying some crazy stuff about trans athletes in high school sports.
Ugh, not that. Again, didn't we already, like, debunk that whole thing?
Yeah.
About trans athletes dominating women's sports?
We did, but that hasn't stopped some politicians from using it as, like, a scare tactic.
So what's he saying?
He's framing that there are all these teams of trans girls, like, completely dominating women's sports, and he has zero proof to back it up.
Of course.
People on Reddit are not happy.
I can imagine. Air politics must be going off.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's calling him out for being a fearmonger and spreading lies.
It's just sad, This kind of rhetoric is still a thing, especially when it's directed at kids who are already, like, dealing with so much.
It is. But it's important to remember that for every Tuberville out there, there are tons of people fighting for what's right, both online and in real life.
That's true. And speaking of fighting for what's right, the algorithm found this story about Australia. They just made it illegal to do the Nazi salute.
Wow, really? That's a strong message.
Yeah, they're not messing around when it comes to hate speech.
And I'm sure our News Off the Stupid is having fun comparing that to, how things are in America right now.
Oh, 100%.
One comment I saw was, America, we almost had it all. Now the tech bros are going to be like marrying their robot wives while we fight over scraps. But hey, at least we're safe from those trans people, right?
Ouch. But also, kind of true. It's funny, but it's also, like, depressing.
Yeah, it's like other countries are actually trying to solve problems and we're stuck in this like endless cycle of arguing with each other.
Makes you wonder if we've, like, completely lost our way.
It does. But maybe, these stories about Ontario or Germany, maybe they can be like a wake-up call, a reminder that things can be different.
I hope so. Because if we keep going down this path, we're going to lose everything that makes this country, worth fighting for.
I agree. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up. It's been a wild week, and the algorithm, it's given us a lot to think about. But hey, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into like the good, the bad, and the just plain weird of the internet. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and, keep asking those tough questions.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And until next time, folks, keep it real and stay curious out there.